and told me they were simply taking this for pain, back pain, leg pain, head trauma, not to get a high, but simply to curb it, to give them some quality of life. And to the doctor here on the end, you want to know what chronic pain is? It's having to lay on your sofa because you can't go to bed with your spouse due to leg cramps, leg pain, your ankles trying to twist themselves off. My wife is a 17-year RN at a very well-respected hospital. When she has to wake up at 3 in the morning and rub my legs because I'm screaming, that's what chronic pain is, mister. That's what chronic pain is. Okay? And where you're getting your figures, I have a friend I served in Iraq with in 2006 and 7 with the U.S. State Department in Fallujah. He lives in Evergreen, Colorado now because he can't get what he needs here for his PTSD. He is a law enforcement officer of 21 years. There's no more conservative person in the state of Colorado. But since he lives there, he has been taking figures since they legalized it. 77% of the people on hydrocodones and other opiates, 77% of them are more likely to commit a crime to get those drugs than all the marijuana users in the state of Colorado.
We have a few more questions.
Okay. My basic question is to the doctor and some other people up there, how are we supposed to complete research based on Arkansas figures if we can't get this to take it?
All right. Well, put that in the back of your head. Let's keep rolling so we can make sure to get everybody in, and then I'll let you guys address
if you'll go
those
ahead
at
and
the
tell
end.
me your name, and you can go right ahead and ask your question, sir.
Let's see, I got something here.
And what's your name?
Doug McDowell. Here's my
Okay. Go right ahead with your question.
card. My name is Doug McDowell. I have a business in North Little Rock. I got involved with the Arkansans for Compassionate Care back before the 2012 campaign because I thought it would be good for business. So many people are supporters. I figured that by having the petitions available for them to sign in my store, it would bring in more customers. And since that time, I have heard a lot of stories from people who need this product to manage their health issues. One of the other TV stations came out and interviewed me and took a picture of my marquee sign in front of the store shortly after we got involved. About a week or 10 days later, a lady came in that wanted to sign the petition. She drove all the way in from Van Buren County. And I didn't have a petition for Van Buren County, but I started a new one because all the signatures on each page have to be from the same county. So we got to talking after she signed the petition. She had a brain tumor, went through the chemotherapy for that. And they have about a dozen drugs they can prescribe you for the side effects of chemotherapy. The first one they put her on, she was not having a good reaction with. She was nauseous all the time, could not hold down food. She's lost a lot of weight. After a couple of months on that, they switched her off to drug number 2, and it was worse than the first one, and they switched her to drug number 3, and it was worse than the first 2. And this time she had lost 65 pounds, could not hold down food. Finally, her physician suggested that if she could find a source for marijuana in the area, and apparently in Van Buren County it's not too difficult, she found a dealer up there that would sell her some stuff. She smoked a little bit in the morning, and she said it was like flipping a light switch off. All of the side effects of her prescribed drugs went away. She was able to hold down food, was no longer nauseous, gained back most of the weight she'd lost, and she said, but I got to be a criminal in order to do that. A few months before the 2014 campaign, 2014 campaign ended, a fellow drove in from Pope County, and he wanted to sign the petition. He said he lost a lifelong friend of his of over 35 years who battled cancer for several years, and he said the only thing that made his life bearable for the last 6 months was smoking some marijuana to deal with the pain he had. The latest one was I went to an event outside the Clinton Presidential Library a couple of months ago that was put on by Aurora, which is an Arkansas Organ Recovery Agency, and a bunch of hospitals had booths there that they deal with organ transplants and stuff, and I was walking around with my petition getting signatures. A bunch of nurses saw what I was doing and came running out of one of the booths there that one of the hospitals had set up. And they asked me if I saw the Monday night news on one of your competing stations, and I said no, and they said one of their patients, who was up from around Paragould, had some kind of liver problem. They gave her a year and a half to live. She was taking like 30 pills a day to deal with this liver problem. She and her husband pulled up stakes, moved to Colorado, and self-medicated out there for about 6 months. Had to come back to the hospital for a checkup. She no longer had that liver problem.
Sir, we're going to move.
It's not effective. It is, and it needs to be done.
Okay, thank you. We have one last question.
Appreciate it.
Quickly, please.
My name is Gail, and I have 2 quick questions for the doctor. Number 1, have you ever heard of the endocannabinoid system? And 2, how many times a week does the pharmaceutical company bring your office lunch?
Okay. We appreciate everyone's questions. We are really over on time, and here's what I'm going to do. Just like we introduced everybody, I'm going to go down the line and let everybody kind of make what in essence will be closing statements, and I'm going to ask you to keep it around a minute so that we can get out of here before Beth and I miss the 10 o'clock news, okay? Very fascinating discussion, I might add. Lots of things shared. Ms. Fultz, you're first up.
We have to change the laws. They say that there's no research, but there's research in other countries. Huge amounts of research that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that cannabis is a medicine. It can cure certain kinds of cancer. It can help Crohn's disease patients. It can help MS patients. We have to change the laws. People are having to take the chance of going to prison in order to save their lives, and that is wrong. I don't care who you are. It's wrong when somebody has to watch a loved one die because they can't get a medicine that they can get in other states or other countries. We have to change the laws.
All right. I'll ask if you would to hold your applause until the end, please, so that we can make sure we get that full minute if they'd like to take it. Mr. Cox.
If cannabis is a medicine, then we need to treat it like medicine. That means prescribed by a doctor with a legitimate prescription, not a note. That means dispensed through a pharmacy, not some corner store out here where people are selling whatever kind of marijuana they can sell, and regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. That's exactly what we have talked about. We've said if there's anything good in the cannabis plant, extract it. Take it out of it, synthesize it, regulate it through the FDA, and dispense it with a prescription through a pharmacy. But do not call this medicine. It is not medicine. There's nothing medical about the way this is being done because there is no prescription, there is no pharmacy. All a doctor does is write a note.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Please, we can hold our applause to the end. Mr. Reed, you've got a minute.
Real simply, since 1970, the possession of marijuana for medicine has never been illegal. Title 21 says, or pursuant to a valid prescription or order. So in other words, it's illegal if you don't have the prescription or order. The Arkansas state statute says possession of counterfeit or controlled substance is unlawful unless the prescription is received directly or pursuant to a valid prescription or order of a practitioner while acting in the course of their professional practice. I'm going to leave you with this. I've been at this since 2010. There's a nonsense poem. It goes like this. In the middle of the day, during a dark night, 2 dead boys got up to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, drew their swords and shot another. A deaf policeman heard a noise, came over, spanked the life out of 2 dead boys. If you believe the lie's not true, ask the blind man. He saw it too.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Reed. And finally, Dr. Smith.
I think that pain is real, and that's why I'm continuing to practice medicine, is to eliminate pain and suffering. What I want to do is do it with good medicines, with good reasons, with the fewest side effects and toxicities. As I said before, I really believe that we need to do this careful research. Right now, for many of the drugs that you've talked about, we have research protocols available in the United States. We don't have to go overseas. We don't have to go out of state. But they have to be applied in proper places. We have to have standard therapies. Many times people don't have their pain treated properly because they haven't gone to the proper person. We need more palliative medicine physicians. We need more pain centers that are legitimate using FDA-approved medicines.
All right. I really appreciate this, and we're going to have to cut it off there. I do want to let you guys go down the row and tell me a website so people can find out more. I'm assuming you have one.
arcompassion.com.
FamilyCouncil.org.
AHACA.info.
Okay.
I have no website.
You don't have a website.
Or
But Dr. Smith, I won't give a phone number. You don't want to do that, do you? Okay. Well, I appreciate all the panelists. And now, everyone, please give these panelists a round of applause for taking time out of their evening tonight. And we appreciate you for coming. We appreciate everyone watching either online or on our sub-channel 7-2. We hope this has been helpful as voters prepare possibly to be voting on this issue in a little more than a year. For my co-host, Beth Hunt, for Roby Brock, I'm Scott Inman. So long. Have a great night.